Good morning, everyone. So today we have Sirisha Bandla with us. I'm going to talk about who is she and her achievements here, and I'm very honored to welcome you to Bangalore and also to have a short conversation with you. So we are going to explore what she has done and what motivated you and your entire experience and journey. So
Thank you so much for having me, and it's my first time in Bangalore, so I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah. Thank you very much. To start from the beginning, how did you get into the world of, even before this space world, Virgin Galactic, and what motivated you to join them? What's your aspiration?
Yeah, it's actually a very long story that I'll try to keep a little shorter. I try to pinpoint that moment in time that I wanted to be an astronaut, and I can't really think about it. I don't know what day it was when I decided I wanted to be an astronaut, but I do remember. I was born in India, in Kerala, and during one of the blackouts that we all experience, I remember sleeping on my grandfather's roof, and with the city so dark, seeing the stars shine so brightly, and just my curiosity was just driven about what's out there, what's there to explore. And I remember that being my earliest memory of wanting to go to space, and that really just rolled into wanting to be an astronaut. People that go to space. So starting very young, I researched what it took to be an astronaut. I looked at people's careers who did incredible things. Neil Armstrong, the Apollo astronauts. But it wasn't until I actually found Dr. Kalpana Chawla that really turned my dream into more of a plan, into something attainable. Because I saw this incredible woman that I share an identity with doing something I wanted to do. So I was able to look at her career, and she was an engineer. She was an incredible engineer. So I decided I was going to go into engineering and pursue being an astronaut. Unfortunately, I have very bad eyesight.
Does it matter?
Yeah, so I wanted to be a NASA astronaut because that's what I was looking at. That's who all my role models were joining an agency and becoming an astronaut. And around 2004, I realized at a doctor's appointment, my eyesight got so bad, I didn't qualify to be a NASA astronaut anymore. And I was just devastated. I didn't know what to do. And coincidentally, in 2004, the Anasari X Prize happened. And the Anasari X Prize was a prize given to the first private company that designed, built, and flew a spacecraft to space, and did it twice because they also wanted to make it sustainable and reusable. And Spaceship One won that prize. And that day, I saw Sir Richard Branson in front of Spaceship One announced he's going to create a company called Virgin Galactic and open space up for all. And I was about 16 years old at that time, and I saw Richard and I said, okay, I'm going to work for Virgin Galactic and I'm going to go to space with Virgin Galactic. And who knew it actually became a reality, but that is how it happened.
That's great, actually. So I know you are also an engineer, and you not only flew to the outer space, but you also work at Virgin Galactic as part of the your engineering team. Do you want to tell me something about what exactly you do as part of the engineering team?
Yeah, so I'm actually the Vice President of Government Affairs and Research Operations. So I work with our government customers. I work with Congress, policymakers, both in the U.S. and overseas, especially countries that are putting in regulations to be able to fly commercial space flight in the future. But also, one of the parts of my job I enjoy is working with the research community. So I work with academia, the science community, technologists, to fly their research to space and back. So I'm working with them to help develop their payloads, help put it through the reviews so that they can send their work to space. And we've done it on our last 4 space flights. We've sent research and science payloads to space and back. So part of my job I really, really enjoy.
That's great. I think one of the missions of why we are trying to do this is to build awareness among people, so that they don't look at people who have come back from space like aliens. It's a doable, achievable goal in your lifetime.
Yep.
I think that is something that you have demonstrated, you have proved, especially to young women, girls. I think that's an eye opener. That's a great milestone for women in its own way, but especially in India, I think space research is gaining a lot of momentum. A lot of youngsters are joining, institutions like ISRO, and there are quite a few startups who have been very well funded by celebrities to do something. They started launching rockets. In Bangalore, there are 2 startups actually. I think now we are at the advent of the space, and everything related around space. I think we got bored with doing anything else on the planet, but I think human race itself is actually elevating to the next level. So when you came to know that you are going to fly to space with your team, I think there are totally 6 people, isn't it?
Yeah. So
you want to tell about about the ship and how does it fly? Of course, we see this on YouTube, but hearing it from you would make a lot of difference.
Absolutely. So yeah, we had a crew of 6. It was Sir Richard Branson,
Okay.
Our chief astronaut instructor Beth Moses, myself, and one of our flight test engineers, Colin Bennett.
Oh, you flew with Mr. Richard Branson?
Yes.
Well, that is like a bullseye on
Yeah.
manifestation.
yeah. I
You
know,
looked
right?
at him and you just got him.
Full circle. Full circle.
That's cool, actually. Yeah.
It came to me. It's funny. It came to me when I was on stage with him after the flight, and he picked me up on his shoulders.
Oh yeah, I saw
And
it.
I was like, wow, this is, who knew? The 16-year-old me, like, you could go back in time and tell her that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. But yeah, I mean, I'm not biased or anything, but I think our vehicle is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different vehicles in the commercial marketplace, which is a good sign for any market that you have competition. But there's also diversification in the vehicles, and we're very unique. Virgin Galactic's vehicle is air-launched. So there's a very large safety component built in because it's both a space plane and a spacecraft.
Yeah.
So it'll always be a glider that can return back to Earth.
Yeah.
So what happens for a typical space flight, you'll take off from the runway, you're in your seat, you're excited,
Yeah.
I was giggling the whole time,
Yeah.
and you're mated to the aircraft.
Yeah.
You take off from a runway like a normal, commercial flight.
Yeah.
When I took off, all my family was standing outside.
You're allowed inside? I mean, at your
outside,
station?
they were right outside. You and your friends and family will be able to be right by the spaceport.
Okay.
I actually waved at them as I flew by the runway.
Okay.
It takes about 40 minutes.
So your clock starts ticking from that point? From the taxi?
Yeah, and then that's about 90 minutes from taxiing.
Okay.
So it takes about 40-45 minutes to get to your release altitude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so during that time, I was actually able to conduct part of my experiment that I took up to space. But you're able to talk to your crewmates.
Yeah.
We were gossiping. We were talking about the flight, talking about the work we have to do.
Yeah.
Just excited, anticipating the moment. And then once you get to release altitude, the pilots will do the final checkouts. Again, there's multiple safety checks built in to the flight. And then before you release, they'll do a final safety check.
Okay.
And then you'll hear the countdown. You'll hear release, release, release.
Yeah.
And you'll feel the spaceship release.
Do you feel a sudden drop?
Yeah, you'll feel a drop. It's fun. It's just a few seconds of free fall. And then the rocket motor will kick on, and basically the spaceship will start in a horizontal position and turn up to space.
Correct, yeah.
And
what G is it? 2G, 3G?
It's about 3 Gs into your chest, and it's actually not bad.
Really?
Yeah, I was able to move my hands.
It's not like your skin went back.
No, you look great for the camera still. I was smiling. It was a lot of fun, and I know we talk about being in space and the view. But as an aerospace engineer, the rocket motor boost, it's about 60 seconds.
Okay.
It was one of my favorite parts of the flight. You feel the power of the rocket motor, you feel the G's into your chest, and you see the sky transition from that blue that we see to black of space.
Oh, really?
And that transition is just, just a part of the journey that we don't talk about a lot, but it's just amazing. It's definitely something I remember very vividly.
Yeah.
And then the rocket motor cuts off, and then you don't expect it, but it's silent. silent.
Yeah. So you're in space.
You're in space.
No noise, no sound, no disturbance.
And yeah, and then we got the clear to unstrap from our pilots.
Yeah.
So we unstrapped. I did a little bit more of my experiment,
Okay.
and then we got to work checking
Yeah.
the interiors for our future customers,
Yeah.
making sure it's an experience they're going to enjoy,
Yeah.
making sure everything's safe.
Yeah.
And in between, I was able to do some flips in
Yeah,
the microgravity
okay. How long
environment.
do you stay up there?
It's about 3 minutes, 3 to 4
okay.
minutes. And then, I mean, I was able to get so much done.
Yeah.
I checked out the interior, I did my experiment, I did some flips.
Yeah, a lot of cameras inside.
There's a lot of cameras. There's multiple GoPros around the
Do they give you those videos
Yes,
later on?
you'll get the footage. Yeah. So, and then of course, you get back into your seat, and it's about 15 minutes until you're back on the
that's
ground.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the ascent is about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And another 3-4 minutes up there.
Yep.
And another 15 minutes to come
yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you land on the runway again, like
Yeah.
a glider and an aircraft.
Okay.
And you're able to just immediately walk out and
Okay.
See your friends and family, have a glass of champagne if you
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah.
There's no waiting period. You're able to instantly get off.
Okay.
And same with the research. You're able to take, if you have research on board,
Yeah.
you're able to unload it immediately. And
Okay.
that's very innovative and new
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
industry. You can't, I mean, it's very hard right now with the vehicles to
Yeah.
send something to space and then hold it the same day.
Yeah. I mean, what was, I mean, first of all, I shouldn't forget to say this. I'm so thankful to Virgin Galactic for in such a short notice. They gave the permission to meet you and to do an interview, and pretty much whatever I asked for, then they gave everything. It's very kind of them. That actually motivates me to come on board. I can't wait to. But yeah, I think when I've been observing your other spaceships who are now going to help people to transition and show you in outer space, and space tourism is increasing now. But if you say Amazon's Blue Origin or anyone, they are using a different technology, they follow a hyperbolic curve in a different way of a slingshot. But you created actually a spacecraft, which is first of all very attractive, and psychologically I felt you don't feel that you are getting into a kind of a huge venture, because you are technically walking into a plane which is the size of a private jet.
Yep.
So how was that entire designing of the aircraft became so different from the rest of your? It doesn't look like a rocket, it doesn't look like a slingshot ball, but it looks like just another airplane of a smaller size. So how was this engineering thought process?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not biased, but I do agree that it is the best looking vehicle out there in the market, but it's purposely designed. You know, air launch has a lot of advantages. You're able to get above the thickest part of the atmosphere, so it's very efficient. Our first stage is the aircraft, and the spacecraft is reusable, and we have a very incredibly good safety feature because they are both aircrafts. We're talking to the airspace controllers. When if anything were to happen during the boost, that we can shut down the rocket motor and just glide back down to safety. And the space plane itself has an incredible feature called, we call it the feathering system. The vehicle itself will feather up, and when it re-enters, it's a very efficient and effective way to dissipate heat and slow you down on your way back. So everything is very purposely designed, and that includes the interior. The interior, it's a very beautiful design, but it's also meant for comfortability, for ease around the cabin. You'll have so many things to hold on to when you're floating in weightlessness. We're really maximizing it for comfort, safety, and for experience.
I was particularly attracted to your spacesuit, and do people get to keep the spacesuit? I think this would be their trophy for their life. It's at least for now, for the human race, it is once in a lifetime kind of an achievement. So do they get to keep their spacesuit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's yours.
Okay.
It's part of what you get to remember. and it's got some pockets for very small personal mementos that you can take up as well.
Okay.
So yeah, you get to keep the spacesuit.
Are you allowed to make your own video if you carry an iPhone or something? No.
You're not. I mean,
because
you're
it's
not,
not.
We've got the cameras all around the cabin. We want you to focus on the experience.
Enjoy the
experience. And take a look at the window, be able to move around the cabin, and really create those memories.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen that. I think Virgin did a great job in just video filming the entire flight inside as well as outside.
Yep.
There you can actually see that once it detaches itself from the main, the body engine, whatever it is, it actually makes a back flip. You know, it goes up and then.
Yep.
And then it starts to re-enter.
Yeah.
Whatever the curve that you meant.
That's true. So after you, after the rocket motor boost, the vehicle itself turns so that all the windows itself have an incredible view of Earth.
Yeah, it's large.
Yeah. So you have multiple windows. They're positioned out, around the cabin. And our pilots are flying the vehicle such that you get incredible views throughout the entire profile.
I know this. You suddenly start floating. It's a weightlessness experience. How exactly was that? Is this because it's of a random descent? You could also experience that in any regular flight also. But you're in space. Even if you stall, you're actually floating.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience. How does it feel to be all over inside the aircraft?
Yeah, the microgravity experience is, it's awesome. It's honestly, you feel like you're flying. If you could imagine flying, that's.
Why do you call it as microgravity?
So it's a very close to zero. This is a very nerdy thing for me to say. It's when you're in microgravity, it's very, very close to zero gravity, but it's not zero.
Yeah.
So I keep that. So that's why I call it microgravity. But a lot of people refer it to zero gravity or weightlessness period. And it's a very interesting. Our vehicle provides an interesting capability for researchers and academics as well, because there's unless you go into orbit, there's no other method of getting 3 to 4 minutes of microgravity or zero G. You can do the zero G aircraft, but that's 20 seconds.
Okay.
You can do there's something called a drop tower for research. That's about 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So this is the capability is the longest continuous time for microgravity unless you go to orbit.
Okay. What kind of preparations we have to do before flying to space?
Yeah. So the training is about 5 days ahead of your flight. You'll be able to meet your crewmates. It's a great opportunity to bond. I mean, our future astronaut community is absolutely incredible. Everyone is doing their space flight for their own personal purpose. And it's great to get to know them and get to know what purpose drives them. So it's great to know your crewmates that you'll be flying with. You'll be training with them for 5 days. You'll get to know the operational features, the emergency procedures, but also what I think is very unique about our spaceflight training is that you're also being trained, emotionally, mentally. You're getting prepared for this incredibly transformative experience. You're going to have the ability to talk to people that have flown in space. You're going to be able to get to know your pilots, your chief astronaut instructor. So it's an experience where you're going to get physically ready in terms of knowing how to move around the cabin, knowing how to wear your flight suit, but you're also going to get mentally prepared for an incredible experience.
So normally we see people who go to space, including Mr. Branson, they're all quite fit and pretty healthy. Is there any precondition that you need to, you cannot have these diseases or you cannot have these health problems if you want to consider going, or like breath, breathing problems or anything? Like, let's say if you want to go up Mount Everest, then you need to have a lot of, there are a lot of issues like breathing oxygen, less oxygen. Is there anything that pre-qualifies for this?
Well, Richard is definitely fitter than I am. So, part of our purpose was to open space up for everyone. So we are trying to keep it as wide open as possible. So what I recommend is if you have any concerns, when you first decide that you're going to join the future astronaut community and fly with Virgin Galactic, you'll get a consultation with our chief medical officer and their team, and you'll have a private channel to discuss anything. And so you can have that conversation before you buy your ticket.
So there is a medical test?
There's no medical test. You'll get a medical review with with our chief medical officer and their team. But if you had any questions about pre-existing condition that you have, we don't have a list of this all disqualifies you. We encourage you to come talk to us, and we'll work through whether that's something that we need to talk about or work through with our team or not.
That's fairly simple.
And it's we talk about the journey of spaceflight with Virgin Galactic, and we often talk about it as when we're taking off, but it starts much before that. I mean, when you make a decision that you want to fly with Virgin Galactic, that's really when the journey starts. You're brought into the astronaut community. You're able to attend events, get to know the community. You have access to our teams. If you have questions about training, if you have questions about medical, you have access to our teams to be able to ask those questions.
So you said there is a 5-day training prior to take off. What kind of training does it have? In-house training?
It's in-house training. You'll meet our medical team in person. You'll meet our chief astronaut instructor and Beth Moses and her team. And they'll take you through the 5-day training. It spans everything from talking to the pilots and the team to get to know the profile that you'll be flying. We have a mock-up where you'll actually be able to sit in your seat with your flight suit, so you're comfortable. You know exactly what you're going to experience. You'll be able to pretend you're floating and move around the mock-up cabin. Learn all of the exit and entry procedures. So it's a very built-out day, and also it's fun. It's not meant to be stressful leading up to your flight. It's a very enjoyable experience, and it's. At least I had a lot of fun.
That's great. I also would like to highlight that you are the number 3, the 3rd Indian woman to be up in space after Kalpana Chawla and Sunita Williams. How does that feel? I mean, to be in the top 3 is incredible achievement within itself. Of course, one is that your hard work, your dedication, your vision, what you wanted to do from your young age, and second one is also, I think, your destiny has led you to where you always wanted to be. How did it feel after you came back that you finally made it for you as an individual and also for your family?
My family is so proud. And that, it's because of them that I was able to go so far. I dragged my parents to every air show imaginable. Every museum. I'm sure they at the end of the day, they know as much as I do about aircrafts and space. I'm incredibly proud to represent such an incredible community, and my grandparents still live here, and I come back quite often. And
this is your first trip after you came back?
Yes. And I walked into my.
How was it?
It's awesome, and it's so nice to meet people who. I didn't know before, but have reached out and said, hey, your journey has inspired me to reach for my dreams and my stars. They're not necessarily to go to space, but seeing someone's journey can inspire you in ways that you didn't even know.
So when you're at your grandparents' place, was there a big crowd who wanted to listen to your story at home? That's
there's a lot of people going in and out, and it was very humbling. And of course, my grandfather has embarrassing pictures all over the wall. But
he must be so proud then. I mean, it's probably one in the entire family of last 500,000 years. We can't say what's in the future, but you could. You're actually the first one. For the entire family on all this side, that side, back side, front side. So I think that's an incredible thing. For them, it's like you're the first human who stepped on the moon or something equivalent, because you're the first one who went to space. So one funny question I have is after you come back, did you feel when you flew from US to Delhi, the flight was very slow and it wasn't going?
Yep. I mean, you go Mach 3 to space, 3 times the speed of sound. 14 hours on a flight from DC to Delhi was seemed like snail's pace.
Whatever.
But you bring up a very good point. I mean, just recently we passed about 600 people in our existence have gone to space, and that's such a small number when you look at the population. And less than in that group, like less than 100 are women. And if you break it down by different geographic regions, India, I mean, that number just dwindles. And Virgin Galactic is wanting to open space up for everyone, wanting to see people of different backgrounds, different cultures go to space and see that journey connect humanity moving forward. And I truly believe after going to space and seeing Earth, which absolutely incredible.
You become a better guy.
You come back. I came back energized. Wanting to finish those projects I had in the back burner, wanting to learn more about our planet, and I realized the spaceship I flew to Earth was an incredible ride, but it made me think about the spaceship I've been on this entire time, and that's our planet.
And you get the astronaut title. Is that still debatable, or can I just go ahead and put it on my resume that I'm an astronaut?
You can put it on your resume.
Nobody's going to challenge me.
I mean, I think the more astronauts in this world, the better. The view is, because I've wanted to go to space so long, I've been looking at pictures, I've been looking at videos. Nothing does it justice. When you look out that window, it's breathtaking. You see exactly what people describe. You see the thin blue line of the atmosphere, and kind of puts into reality how fragile our planet is. You see the no borders. I mean, I was looking at the southwest portion of the United States, and as much as we talk about the different states, you see no borders. And looking at Earth against.
Do you see the whole planet itself?
No, you see the portion of I saw the portion of the southwest of the United States. So depending on, in the future, we're hoping to see more launch sites, so you'll have different views of the planet.
But you see the blue horizon.
Yes, you do. So I saw the Earth against the very matte black of space. And it makes you feel so small, but it doesn't make you feel insignificant. So it's a very, it's very hard for me to describe the feeling, so I can't wait for more people to be able to experience it themselves.
What is the altitude it reaches? About 100 miles?
It's anywhere between 80 to 100 kilometers.
Kilometers?
So over 50 miles, which is the demarcation of space.
Correct.
So it's an incredible journey, and I'm an engineer, so every time someone asks me to describe it, I say incredible, I say amazing, I say it's so great. I can't wait to, we're gonna have customers that are communicators, that are artists, that are just better communicators than I am, and I cannot wait to see what comes out when they go to space and I come back to Earth and are able to communicate it in a much more eloquent way than I am.
Correct. And I wanted to show this to everybody. That thank you for bringing such a magnificent coffee mug. I know this resembles the body of your
of our newest
Galactic.
spaceship. So that's Spaceship Imagine's exterior.
Exterior. It's incredible actually how it is. Thank you so much for bringing all the way from the US. One last question before we sign off was, in India, it's I think as a community we are evolving. I know you are also from the same origin, but what's your message to the youngsters, particularly young women in India, towards science, towards space, or what's your message so that they can embark on this journey and they don't have to give up on their hopes and dreams? What would you like to
I would say that everyone's journey is different. It's really important to find what drives you and what you're passionate about. That's really what will take you through the good times and the hard times. And I hope my journey showed that there's more than one way to do things. I originally thought I was going to go to space through an agency like NASA, but because I was not able to, I found another way. And so I hope my journey shows that there's multiple paths you can take. So I hope my journey has shown that there's multiple ways to do this. Chase your dreams, go after your stars. I wanted to go the traditional method of going to space via NASA, and I wasn't able to, but I was able to have this incredible journey with Virgin Galactic. So I hope young women in India, no matter what their goals are, no matter what their dreams are, they find what's passionate and chase that, and don't take the traditional as the only way to go. There's multiple ways. And I hope, you know, my journey has reduced some barriers and given them the first footstep to follow in, but I'm looking forward to seeing the paths they create because it's going to be much different from woman to woman.
Amazing. So thank you for spending your valuable time with us. I'm personally very honored. And,
Me too.
And you're such an humble person, you know. You went out of the way and out of the world to explore what scientists believe, and I think I don't know whether you realize it or not, I think you have paved way for a lot of dreamers, thinkers, aspirants that anything is achievable as long as you chase this and find ways to do that. I think that's a great motive for this generation and future generation also, and I feel that this is just a beginning. A lot of credit, from my personal point of view, a lot of credit goes to Virgin Galactic also to make it happen in our lifetime. We never thought that we could actually even think about it. You know, we went to moon, and I think that's it. You know, that was the end of it. But now we think that, well, it is possible. That means in a few years from now, it becomes just another topic. I think it's an incredible thing to chase, experience, and to be part of that community. So thank you once again for spending your valuable time. Really appreciate it. And
you're right. This is just the beginning for humanity's place in space.
Correct.
So excited.
Yeah. Great. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.